Welcome to our information studio. Today, for the rendezvous of the invité de la semaine, we have the pleasure to have PauloRosado, who is the founder and CEO of the company d'OutSystems, specialized in no-code, low-code tools. PauloRosado, welcome. Good morning.
Thank you, Guy. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for accepting our invitation. So we usually start this interview with the news of the week or the last week for you, not related specifically to d'OutSystems, but of course, related to the IT sector. So what is the something that is coming to your mind in the recent time?
Well. Actually, that's a constant ram of news coming our direction. But I think it's rewarding for us is a lot of the news we've been having as we close the quarter in terms of the surge in customers that want to innovate through software and so are pursuing this type of platforms with a vengeance. So this basically just confirms a lot of what the analysts are saying in terms of the penetration of these type of platforms and how useful they are to CIOs and business leaders.
Okay, so we will talk, of course, about that later on. And then there is another thing I'd like to ask you. With the COVID situation, we've been in that situation for about 1 year now, and it's it came very quickly, and it's still going on. So how did you organize your company? How do you work? What is the behavior of all the employees of your company, and how do you see the future in the next months to come? Because we are not in the normal. It's still like a new normal. So how do you work right now with this kind of situation?
Correct. Well, we are fortunate in the sense that we are one of those companies that can fundamentally send everyone home and work from home. So our 11 worldwide offices are closed. Everyone is working from home and has been doing that already for some time. We had to change initially in the first 3 months. We did a lot of trial and error, a lot of employee support. We issue a policy of, especially for parents with small children, that they should create the schedule that makes sense for them, because there was a very difficult situation with the schools closed in a lot of countries. And today, fundamentally, we are operating almost normally, more efficiently, I would say, in a lot of cases. But people are a little bit tired of the situation.
So when do you see the end of it? I mean, do you think next September? Of course, you can predict the future, but we don't know what's going to happen. But do you think it's September, you will go back to what it was before, or you will work in a hybrid mode, using what you experienced the last month and what you were doing before?
I don't think the world is going back in a lot of ways. I think professional life is going to change, especially for knowledge workers. And we've already changing our offices to be able to accommodate a hybrid model. I think video conference is here to stay, even if you are physical in the offices. And so I think it's going to be a true combination of people working remotely and maintaining physical contact and creating physical relationships to reinforce trust among the teams. But it's going to be an hybrid model, at least for us, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now let's talk about d'OutSystems, because I think, first of all, we have to give some information about your company. I suppose I'm not sure, but some of our readers don't know d'OutSystems. So just basically, you are in a low-code, no-code company providing tools for that kind of work. You were founded in 2001 in Portugal, which is something a little bit different, not very usual. Yes. You are headquartered now in Boston. About 1,500 employees. So that's basically who you are. But could you give us a little bit more about your company and what you do?
Yeah. So we always had the idea of solving the problem of software development inside enterprises, which has always been software projects, especially inside enterprises, have always been plagued with being over budget, being late. It's always a very difficult endeavor for CIOs. The process of software development in the past 10 years with DevOps, continuous development, and the fact that every company today needs to build software in a lot of areas of the company, like portals, mobile apps, composing services. There's a tremendous amount of software that needs to be developed internally. What our platform does, it helps developers, smaller teams. Instead of having a 1,000 developer team, you can have a 100 developer team. Really good, but it automates a lot of the processes, both of development and DevOps, and in that process deliver software much faster with a lot of quality, and that doesn't incur in technical debt in the future.
Mm-hmm. So could you tell us a little bit more about your platform? Because when in your website, when you present the platform, you're talking about collaboration, you're talking about visual interface, you're talking about automation, you're talking about intelligence artificial. So all ingredients to build that platform. Right. But could you tell us a little bit more, and also about the pricing of that? Because it looks like what I read, you can use it as a free tool, and then you upgrade. But the first upgrade is 4,000 a month, then 10,000 a month. So it goes quickly, and you better know what you're going to do with it. So right. Could you tell us a little bit more about the platform?
Yeah, absolutely. So our aim is always to get into those type of areas where you need to develop fast, and you need to iterate software very quickly. And for instance, composite applications, portals, mobile apps are very much into that very difficult area for software development. And our approach is fundamentally one of having a very expressive mobile visual development environment, very powerful, completely integrated already with application lifecycle management, with a lot of DevOps type of features, all integrated. And that combination gives us the possibility of building something, moving it across a pipeline, CI/CD pipeline, continuous integration, continuous delivery pipeline, and release a version very quickly in minutes, if you want to. And with that, we also, the way we use AI, for instance, is that because we are in the business of helping developers and ops people and SecOps personnel, is we use a lot of AI underneath to basically assist all these functions in doing less work, producing more, doing less work. And so we're using AI in a lot of areas across the life cycle of these applications and across the multiple tools of the platform.
Let's talk about your customers. Are you targeting mostly big companies, or you targeting all of them? I mean, from the big one to the smallest one. Who is the average developer? Is it a technical developer, or is it what we call a citizen developer, somebody who doesn't know anything about application development? Who are these companies and these people using your tools?
Yeah. So in terms of segment of enterprises, We typically have a wide range, but we start at even at the lower range in the small and medium, le petit entreprise, the small and medium enterprise. We actually sell into companies that want to use OutSystems as the platform for developing all their assets or their digital assets. And so those are our customers. And then we have Fortune 50, Global 2000 companies. In France, our bet, which is usually happened when we have markets that we've entered in the past 2-3 years and we're developing, we typically sell to bigger, to large enterprises first. But typically what happens usually in our go-to-market models is that we tend to move down into commercial, mid-market, and then SMBs. Mm-hmm. In terms of the target users, we fundamentally sell to IT. We sell to information technology, always with the sense of having 1 or 2 business economical buyers already ready. Sometimes we have someone in sales, a chief operations officer, that want to do some form of optimization, someone in marketing that wants to provide to redo the customer experience through portals or mobile applications. But usually conducted, we talk directly with IT. We just make IT more productive, and we try to accommodate to the environment they already have.
So most of the time, these people are technical developer. I mean, they know development language like Java or Python, or they are mm-hmm. coming from another world.
They do, but it's actually interesting because in our community, we provide the capacity for teams to be built, not only with this technical computer science. I'm a computer scientist. Most of the employees, more than half of the employees of OutSystems are computer science backgrounds. A lot of our experts, professional services are computer science. They use the platform just because after a while, when you become a little bit more senior, your shift goes towards outcomes and delivery fast, and you're tired of maintaining software. You're tired of always having to do boring work. And so a lot of what the platform does is actually pretty acceptable by even highly technical developers and architects, because it allows you to big things with not having, with the assurance that scalability, security, architecture, a lot of these things can be done intelligently, but with very little work. At the same time, we see an increased amount. We have a lot of very large enterprises that bring new pools of developers that are not really technical, that are in other areas of the business. They put them together into digitally heterogeneous teams, and they can use the platform. Usually there's more technical people, less technical people, as product owners, UX designers, field engineers. Then we have architects that typically have computer science degrees. And so it's really a mixture. It brings the company together, we'd like to say, usually.
Okay. Could you tell us, give us 1 or 2 examples of your customers and tell us what they do with your application platform?
Yeah, no, absolutely. A very common scenario is when today, for instance, in very large companies, if you are a company more than 1 billion euros in revenue, you probably have between 500 to 1,000 plus cloud services contracted. And so the backend systems today are being replaced with this pulverized, with very small, sometimes not very small, but a very heterogeneous collection of SaaS, software as a service, and APIs and cloud services. And a lot of these systems, CRM systems, support systems, that they are built from an interface point of view towards the backend, towards the guys who build the reporting. And what OutSystems does is, in a very short amount of time, we are able to build the web portals, the mobile applications that integrate with all these sources and completely redesign the journey towards that particular role: a customer, a salesperson, a support person, an agent, an insurance agent, someone who's in the field, the workforce mobile. A lot of these applications are very difficult to build. They need to be very delightful to use so that you can remove friction, provide optimization, provide effectiveness to that workforce. And especially if you're building applications directly to customers, the portals, the mobile apps, the touch points, the chatbots, all of those things that we support need to be tuned, and that they are constantly changing. And so we are able to build these things to achieve situations of absolute delight and extreme optimization in those relationships with those customers, partners, and internal worlds. And we have many banks that do that. A lot of healthcare companies, a lot of logistic companies, a lot of utilities. We basically cover about 21 industries. And the software is so powerful that you start there, but then in some situations you end up by building full platforms, full ERPs with portals everywhere that completely operate your business in a customized, unique way, the way you operate.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the market in general. And usually we put no code and low code in one package, and it looks like there are two different words. Sometimes there is a in between those two, but they are different. Like low code is for technical people, and no code is for people we call the citizen developers, people who don't have any experience in coding. But in general, the Gartner is predicting a very bright future for all these tools. Do you think in the near future, or in few years, they will replace development, language development, or do you think they will complement them and to complement existing application or to develop new application? Well, how do you see this collaboration between the language development and the kind of tool, low code, no code?
Well, first of all, it's interesting to distinguish the no code, low code has been. Those terms have been simplified a lot by the vendors also that are in these. The colleagues that are in this category. If it's interesting to understand, it's the way to look into this is basically to create like a gradient of complexity of the applications, and fundamentally just plug the particular type of platforms and vendors across that complexity spectrum. And so if you're building a workflow with one form and two steps, or something that shows one table, you can do that with very simple tools, and usually they're called no code. Actually, it's very rare today that there are no code tools that are low code, and so the only way for no code tools to become a little bit more powerful is to extend themselves into code. And so the situation is that it's just a simplification to say that either you do something that's small or something that's more mission critical and will withstand the test of time usually. And so that's in terms of and the second question was whether these type of platforms are going to be important in the future, right? And we absolutely believe so, and we believe they will be complementary to other type of languages. But if you take the way digital platforms are built today, which they are built as composable microservices or elements that are interconnected together, some of them headless, suntet, and the other ones with the UI, with the user interface. These type of components, the idea is that they can be built in multiple type of technologies. They have different life cycles. So OutSystems basically allows you to build both of these type of components, applications and services. And we'll, if you want something that's fast, that's very effective, if you don't have the skill sets to build a lot of that software, if you want to maintain it with very low overhead, you probably pick OutSystems. If you have an elite team that's building, that's doing extra stuff, that wants to use, they have those skill sets, they want to use those type of platforms, they can build some of those services, but they are complementary, and they will be complementary in this mesh of ecosystems. We typically very little replace things. We basically just augment and give effectiveness to what you already have.
Mm-hmm. Last question I'd like to ask you: the Gartner, is publishing a report on that market, and you are in the nice quadrant, which is the one up and right, and being you are one of the leader of that market with a company like some of them are well known like Microsoft, but some of them are specialized in that market, like Mendix or Appian, but you're one of the leader of that market. And of course, in general, in that report, they have the strength and then the cautions about when people are using your tools. And there are two of them I'd like you to answer. One is you were proposing or telling that you are going to propose like a building workflow and for people like we call the citizen developers, and it looks like it's not there yet. So that's one thing. And then they are telling a little bit about they have some caution about your support of the customer. So what do you have to answer to those two things?
Well, a lot of what we do in terms of our tool sets is we have a lot of investigation. Some of the things that and a lot of the way our engineering works is we try a lot of products, try a lot of trials, because we're really at the edge of innovation here. So we have a very powerful workflow capability, and as we tried out with simplifying workflows, we have now this tool that's targeted at no-code developers. And one of the things that we've realized as we combine the two is that it's actually the gap between our core capability and the new tools, that there was a gap there that we didn't predict. And so a lot of what we're doing is fundamentally actually rethinking the way we're looking into that particular collection of tool sets. Some of the issues with support have actually to do with the fact that OutSystems has an on-prem and the cloud offering, and a lot of because of our decoupled architecture, a lot of our cloud is now able to support tens of millions of users. And at the same time, we have customers that are using our platform to build applications with those type of loads. And so as we provide more, we need to help our customers in some cases in making sure that they catch up in terms of their infrastructure, their cloud infrastructures, to the level that we are in our cloud. And sometimes we have issues here. It's the typical issue of running high change, highly scalable, mission critical systems, constantly shifting into kind of on-prem type of environments, because it's a really sophisticated thing. And so we do a lot of support. We provide actually a lot of support to our customers, actually. And so the report usually actually reflect that we do support a lot of our customers that are on-prem.
Okay. Well, I think we've covered pretty much, and I just want to thank you again for accepting our invitation. Thank you very much, PauloRosado.
It was a pleasure. Thank you, Guy.